Dear student teachers and all the viewers, welcome to today's program. Today we are going to learn a very dynamic area in the field of English language teaching, that is language laboratory. Dear student teachers, you are all aware that we teach English to our students from class 1 to 10 for 10 years with a very important aim in view to develop wonderful communication skills in our students. Hence, the very important component in any language is speaking. Hence, we have to give a lot of importance to speaking area and communication skills to our students. There are many languages in this world. Any language is for speaking only. We are in a multilingual and multicultural country, and we use language for communication mainly, and this communication competence should be developed in our students. And you are all aware that we call world is a global village. We are global citizens. Hence, our aim is to prepare our students to become international citizens, global citizens. Nowadays, dear student teachers, you are all aware that students are moving across the globe to pursue their education and also to pursue their further studies. Hence, this is the aspiration of all the stakeholders. It is the aspiration of politicians, teachers, elders in the society and students to impart English language skills in our students. Hence, this is a wonderful weapon that we have to give to our students to become international citizens. And they also, because English is a language of opportunities and English is an international language. Hence, the students with this wonderful that language skills, proficiency in English can grow in their life. They can go anywhere in this world and they can settle, they can go for further education. And whatever may be their knowledge in this world, it comes first in English. Hence, by providing wonderful reading that skills in our students, the students can access knowledge that is there in this world up to date, and they can develop themselves. Dear student teachers, we are all in the era of information technology. We are making best use of information technology for various purposes in our day-to-day life. We are using it, and in the same way our pedagogy, our view towards the teaching learning process is tremendously changing, and students are using different types of devices, and they are accessing the knowledge that is there in this world. Hence, the same things should be imparted to our students, and it may be a railway reservation, it may be a bus reservation, it may be finding ways to reach a place by using Google Map, and all these skills should be imparted to our students. For that, language lab is very, very useful. Let us try to understand what is a language lab. A language laboratory or language lab is one such technological innovation that plays a vital role in the language learning process. A language laboratory is a room in a school, college, training institute, university, academy that contains special equipment to help students learn foreign languages by listening to tapes or CDs, watching videos, recording themselves, etc. Dear student teachers, we learn theory in the classrooms. Theory is imparted in the classrooms, and what is a laboratory? Physics lab, biology lab, or it may be chemistry lab, or any lab is a place where we can experiment, practice and learn practically. Hence, hands-on experiences and learn with evidences, then executive skills, and all these can be imparted wonderfully by using language laboratory. This same thing in the case of language laboratory also. In language laboratory, we practice language in the laboratory. We attain proficiency of language in the laboratory. Then you see, observe this.
The number of Smart Class Plus digital language learning classrooms is increasing significantly around the globe. Schools are choosing Smart Class Plus because its superior sound quality is very important for language learning. A good example is this classroom at Ratia Božická Elementary School in the city of Prague, the capital of the Czech Republic. The classroom is organized into digital nests from which students participate in a variety of language learning activities. The Smart Class Plus language learning platform significantly extends the available speaking time for language students. There is no need for students to change seats to have a conversation with any partner. Smart Class Plus eliminates situations where students repeatedly choose the same partner for conversation pairing activities. The teacher is monitoring all conversations, interacting with students, and providing valuable feedback for everybody. Using the well-padded noise-canceling headphones, students experience quality digital sound and are isolated from external disturbances.
Can you play football? No, I can. Can you swim? Yes, I can.
Smart Class Plus records the selected language activities, stores them in the media library, and then makes the recordings available for student and teacher listening. This way, students receive immediate feedback. The teacher is using various digital resources to help students practice speaking and listening skills in class. Textbook CDs, videos, internet language learning resources, and native speakers recordings. Pictures, PDFs, and student recordings can be used as well. Smart Class Plus enables language learners to choose from many language learning options for student activities. Students can practice comparative or simultaneous recording, or interact with text exercises. A big advantage of Smart Class Plus is the fact that all students are interacting with the language activities at the same time, each at their own pace. Student progress is optimized for each individual, and the student's engagement is dramatically increased compared to language classes without Smart Class Plus. Smart Class Plus supports a variety of language comprehension tasks. Teachers can choose different exercise types to focus on specific student language skills. Teachers can monitor each student's individual assignments and interactively support their students as needed. Individualization allows each student to work at his own pace. Assessment with Smart Class Plus is realized on multiple levels. Overall student performance is assessed, and each student receives a written or oral assessment for every completed assignment. Teachers can easily generate grade reports for individual students, with the reports being displayed on the student's desktop and saved in the student's e-portfolio.
Dear student teachers, this is all about language laboratory, and let's try to understand what are the different types of language laboratories. How can we implement this language laboratory in our schools? Then the primitive type of language laboratory is known as conventional laboratory, and there is a tape recorder, audio cassettes, and the setup is normal classroom setup. And the tape usually contains texts or stories read aloud by a native language speaker. There are also listening and speaking exercises that follow in each chapter. The teacher plays back the tape and the learners listen to it and learn the material. This is one primitive and conventional type of language laboratory, and now the somewhat developed one, we call it as linguaphone laboratory. And here in this linguaphone laboratory, it is like a conventional laboratory with a little modernization. The students are given headphones to listen to the audio cassettes that are played back. As regards to the conversational laboratory, the distractions in this laboratory are less, so there is certain amount of clarity in listening. That is the difference between our conventional laboratory and the linguaphone laboratory. There is no distraction. Here both these laboratories, just the teacher, he provides some listening exposure to students. That means listening experience. They attain listening experience. What type of listening experience? The native speakers model of listening experience will be provided to students. They listen, and if required, the teacher can play it for several times, so that students attain that what we call that complete practice and attain the skills of that speaking and listening. And now, dear student teachers, now we call language learning in language laboratory as computer assisted language learning. This CALL. Hence, now we are with computers. Dear student teachers, all our schools, even almost even in interior places, are also provided with wonderful language labs. There are language labs in all our high schools in our state. Government is taking special care to enhance technology in education. We are moving towards digital classroom techniques and digital classroom procedures, pedagogy in our classrooms. Even in any place, because of the development of technology, we can access these computer labs to internet, and our students can access knowledge that is there in the entire world. Within a short while, dear student teachers, we can find language laboratories in our government primary schools also. Hence, let us understand how can we make best use of these language laboratories, and how can we use one of our computer labs in our schools as language laboratory, and all those things let us discuss. Computer assisted language learning is a process of acquiring teaching strategies enhanced by or based on the computer technology during interactive lessons of second language. See, this is a computer, that means computer assisted language learning. We use computers to teach language to our students. Students may use their own personal computers, and even your Android phone is can act as a source to make best use in the language laboratory. And here our language lab in our schools can be utilized for this purpose. Dear student teachers, one important thing I would like to make it clear to you is not only these computers. Why can't we use various other sources in the lab? The information that can be utilized in the lab to develop or elevate the language proficiency in our students can be used in language laboratory. For example, you may bring one railway reservation form, you may bring one recipe, you may use one what we call some other authentic material, that means one application to open one account in one bank. All these materials, it may be one brochure related to tourism, Telangana tourism brochure. All these things, one recipe, how to prepare a cup of coffee, cup of tea, and some newspaper articles, some story books, all these can be kept in language lab, and we can use them in order to develop various skills, reading skills through story books. Level suited, even as primary students, they feel happy to read story books with pictures. You may use story books, you may use some authentic materials such as bank bank brochures, or what we call some TV brochures. some business related that brochures that are available free of cost in the market, some wrappers. How to prepare a cup of Bonavita is wonderfully explained on that wrapper of Bonavita wrapper. You may bring it, use it. How to prepare a cup of tea. Student he learns how to prepare a cup of tea and he explains in the classroom, and he can learn how to, that means what are the various steps in one science information. He can learn, he can read, understand and present how to prepare oxygen in the laboratory. What is the process of photosynthesis and what is the light reaction in photosynthesis. This sequence, hence by linking this language with the day-to-day life and making best use of these things can help our students to attain wonderful professional skills, proficiency of language, and they grow. Dear student teachers, we in our language laboratories, now with in our computer laboratories, we use multimedia. Multimedia in teaching, see how interesting it is. See what is meant by multimedia? Multiple, media means mediums of communication. Multiple implies the integration of multiple forms of media. This includes text, graphics, audio and video. And all these things we make best use in the language laboratory or in our computer lab, that is it, in our schools. Students feel great interest. Still our students, even village students, are using their parents' Android phones for the purpose of entertainment or games. Let us channelize their knowledge, that means their energies, and help them to acquire language by accessing these different types of multimedia, and where they can attain a sort of entertainment also. They show great interest, and it's a sort of linking our that classroom teaching to day-to-day life, which is one of our important that concepts of new pedagogy of constructivism. Dear student teachers, the course module is already stored in the computer. The language course resources are already downloaded on the computer and are presented to students. We have language laboratories in our schools. Let us install that some information by gathering from internet and install those things, provide those experiences to our students. See, in our computers we can provide our students with some text, some reading information may be there. We may provide in the form of images, we may provide audio and video. The students, we may integrate all these things. Teachers can alter materials to fit their requirements according to the age, interest, mental level, the pace of the learner. The teacher can provide level suited, personalized way of teaching can be provided through a language laboratory, where students derive great pleasure and learn a language. Dear student teachers, here you find wonderful stories also. You find them in the form of videos. You may make best use of these stories. You will show those videos. They attain great entertainment. Stories are there in our YouTube. Download them, install them. The components of a language laboratory. Let us try to understand components of a language laboratory. And language laboratory consists of 3 sections: hearing booth or student section, console or advisors booth, teacher session, and control room. Hearing booth, this is students session, this is students section. Here students work without any disturbance. They are provided with computers, and teacher gives some tasks or some information to them. They work independently in hearing booths. what students can do in their hearing booths, they can listen to the native speakers model. Dear student teachers, teacher may not be in the position to provide native speakers model, but in language laboratory we can provide native speakers model to them. Then after they listen for several times, and also they record his own voice and compare it with the model. He can find the instant evaluation also. He can watch videos, student can watch videos, animations, word formats, information, images. He can access to the internet where he can find a lot of knowledge, and he can choose here. He can practice all the 4 skills of the language: listening, speaking, reading and writing in the language laboratory. Here, dear student teachers, one thing I would like to make you very clear: our view towards teaching learning process is changed. Now we are moving towards digital the classrooms. We are encouraging students to retrieve information from internet, and here our role is a co-learner and a facilitator. Let's just our students are in the position to that retrieve suitable information from the source will be the major or main main important duty of teacher. Within a short while we can see such type of classrooms, and our students can attend online exercises or exercises, reading exercises, listening exercises, speaking exercises, writing exercises, and he can make use of online dictionary also, and to retrieve meanings of difficult words. Students can seek the help of the instructor. Every student can select his lesson according to his interest. Every student can work according to his pace, interest, attitude and aptitude without distraction and disturbing the other students. Then next that one component in the language laboratory is console or advisor's booth. You see, advisor's booth or console booth is teacher's session. Teacher has some material with her and she has some controlling switches with her. Because of that, she can interact all the students in the classroom, and also she can interact individually to the students when it is required. And here this is one master console unit. You can see here this picture, you can see the slide master console unit. Here in that console unit there are some various switches are there. These switches are under the control of the teacher. You observe here master console unit on the slide, you see, and console or advisor's booth. Teacher can evaluate the students' performance and take measures to improve them till they attain satisfactory level. Teacher can communicate with any students in the laboratory. It contains of many switches which are called distribution switches. You can observe distribution switches here in master console unit. And you come across different types of switches, in the teacher's console. Distribution switches to direct the recorded programs to the learners. Teacher can monitor the laboratory. Monitoring switches are there to enable the instructor to listen to the learners, to correct, to advise and evaluate them. Intercom switches are helpful. They are two-way communication with any individual learner. Group call switch for inviting attention of all the learners to receive general instructions. All call switch for making announcements to the learners regardless of the program. There is one other component is called control room. The control room contains all the tapes, records and other equipments properly indexed for quick use. And generally, let us understand procedure followed in the language laboratory. Dear student teachers, we call language laboratories as virtual classrooms or digital classrooms, and even we make our computer lab as a virtual classroom or a digital classroom, or we may call it as make it for learning of language, we can name it as a language lab. Here you observe students are provided with computers, or it may be laptops or their own equipments, or it may be devices such as mobile phones, and they interact with each other. They interact with the computer, the information that is there, and also interact among themselves, or they interact with a teacher also. And here virtual classroom provides virtual learning environment. It is a set of teaching and learning tools designed to enhance a student's learning experience by including computers and the internet in the learning process. Learners can record their own voice and play back the recordings, interact with each other and the teacher, and store results. Teacher can intervene and control the learners' computers via the teacher's console, track the learner's work. Self-access for independent learning, which includes access to resources outside the class. Because of that virtual classroom is access to internet, students can access knowledge that is there in the entire world. With a language lab, all students in the class can speak simultaneously without distracting each other, regardless of the class size. Dear student teachers, practice is very essential. In our conventional classroom setup, we can't give that chance or opportunity to every student to speak the language. Time doesn't permit. Hence, in language laboratory, every student can speak. It gives wonderful practice. Every student can listen, because listening is very, very important for language learning. And also speaking, practicing speaking is also very important to develop language abilities. These two things can be provided to every student in the classroom. All the students and teachers are interconnected to LAN, local area network. They also connected to internet. You observe here, here the LAN will be there, and there will be some computers will be there, the teacher computer will be there, all are interconnected. And all these the teacher's computer or student's computers will be connected to internet. We call it as world that wide area network or WAN. Wide area network is also known as internet. And a server computer or a separate storage device is often used to store lesson materials in digital format. This is the setup of our modern language lab, dear student teachers.
Everybody quiet. There's got to be a better way. Could a language lab improve teaching for me and learning for my students? Does that mean by working independently, higher ability students will have an environment to excel, while I'm able to support lower ability students? Great, so students get more time to practice. That will also help students who don't like speaking in front of classmates. They can all work independently and record themselves. What else can it do? Oh, an innovative way to practice speaking and listening. Great for flipped-based learning activities. Students' work is even marked automatically. That's brilliant. I'm curious, what can Study 1200 do that websites and apps can't? That's good. What about if other students need my assistance? Simple and effective. Can Study 1200 help me save time preparing for lessons? Just what I need. This is really going to make life easier. That'll be great for instant oral assessments or interpreting. So students can call each other as a form of practicing their speaking. No more distractions or cheating then. But doesn't a language lab need lots of specialist hardware? What does concurrent licensing actually mean? So the software can be installed.
As dear student teachers, what are the objectives of a language laboratory? And dear student teachers, you know, the language laboratory is very much helpful to develop all the 4 skills. Listening, we provide listening exposure and we make our students to listen and understand things. That is very important. Listening leads to speaking, and we can provide a lot of listening exposure to students in the language laboratory. And then next one is speaking. Students can develop speaking that abilities, because they attain a lot of that opportunity in the language laboratory to interact with each other. They can listen to the model of native speakers, and then reading. There is a lot of material. They can access knowledge, that millions of pages are there in the internet. They can read that knowledge, and also they can access online dictionary. Whenever they come across any difficult word, they can refer online dictionary and they make out correct the meaning, and they can further they can read well. Reading is a very, very essential skill that can be wonderfully developed through this language lab. And writing, they can write their ideas, and in this way these 4 skills can be developed in our students. And how to communicate with the native speaker, and to provide environment where students can imitate and practice their skills in a language at their own pace and without any disturbance. Let us see what is the significance and relevance of language laboratory. A language can be mastered only after developing the sensibility for the sounds and rhythm of that language. Every language has its own sounds. We have to master those sounds to attain language. You know, we call a subject that is phonetics, especially deals speaking. See, our English, it has special features. You see, dear student teachers, same sound is represented by different letters. You see, physics, laugh and fan. In these three words, sound fa is there. The fa is represented by ph in physics, gh in laugh, f in fan. See, different letters to represent same sound. Cat and king. The ka sound is represented by c in cat, k in king. Same letters represent different sounds. Put and but. In put, you see, letter u that gives the sound u sound. In but, u is giving a. But we call it a sound. B a t, p u t, put, b a t, but. In this way, same letters represent different sounds. This type of some special features are there in English. These are to be mastered. You see, stress and rhythm. You see, about. There are syllables. We don't give equal importance to all the syllables in a word or all the words in a sentence. We call it as stress. About. We say about. You don't say about. About. A go. A guide. We say examination. You see, in examination there are many syllables. We give stress on nation, examination. We also use this type of second stress also on exam. These are the special features. These are to be mastered and these are to be practiced. These are to be that students are to be exposed to this type of activities to attain wonderful skills. We say in Telugu, we give equal that stress to all the words in a sentence. The train was stopped at the number of stations. We say in Telugu like that. But in English, as a native speaker, he says the train was stopped at the number of stations. He doesn't give equal stress on all the words. The train was stopped at the number of stations. He gives more stress on content words. He doesn't give stress on what we call grammatical words. It gives a sort of rhythm, music to students. All these things can be presented to our students through language lab only. Students can listen the best samples of the language. They can imitate and practice the language. Let's see advantages of a language lab. It gives wonderful speaking practice. In order to attain fluency, practice, practice, practice is the shortest way to attain fluency. And you see, self-paced learning. Dear student teachers, our new pedagogy states individual differences are there in students, and according to pace we should provide, according to interest, according to attitudes, according to aptitude, we have to view students and we have to provide personalized teaching. That is the very, very important thing that can be achieved through language lab in a great way. Self-paced. My pace is different, my interest is different, my that means attitude, aptitude, likings are different, and I can select my favorable item from a lot of that information that is there in our language lab, and that is there in the internet, and I can learn. That we call self-paced learning. And you see, how you can speak like a native speaker. We can provide native speaker model. Even teacher may not be in the position to provide that model. That can be achieved in the language lab. We can listen to the model of native speaker, and we can record our own, that means our speaking, and we can compare our speaking with the model of native speaker. And this is also evaluated by the computer. That is the greatness of our language lab. We can listen native speakers' voice and practice it for several times. You can listen. Then we record our own voice. Then let's compare our voice with the native speaker's voice, and our computer, after receiving this result, computer can analyze and it can give some suggestions to us. And here one more thing, break the monotony. It gives excitement. You see, multimedia materials will be provided to our students. Wonderful stories will be given. Wonderful images will be shown. The wonderful videos will be shown. Wonderful videos, entertaining videos with wonderful speaking skills. Those can be provided to our students, and students feel very, very happy, and hence they derive enjoyment. When they derive enjoyment in learning, automatically they learn the language. Enjoyment leads to learning. It also breaks the monotony. Always we teach our students in the classroom. It may be a sort of boring to our students. Now and then, if you give exposure to our students in the lab, and that gives a great pleasure, and it leads to wonderful language acquisition in our students. And immediate feedback also can be seen in the language laboratory. And what are the challenges? It demands uninterrupted power supply. Okay, in our state we have a wonderful power supply, and we don't have this problem. And expensive, that means the equipment may be expensive. And then what is the other thing? The teachers should be resourceful. Teachers' attitude, lack of trained teachers. Teachers should attain training, and teachers should have interest. That is very, very important. Teachers' resourcefulness, interest is very, very important, and his updating the knowledge is important. His professional growth is important. How can we develop language lab in our schools with available resources? Okay, we see different labs in various places, but dear student teachers, our government has taken care of language laboratories, and all our high schools are provided with computer labs. Just if you start making use of them, we can make best use of them. With little effort on the part of the teacher, little resourcefulness, little effort, little enthusiasm, the teacher can do wonders and make best use of a language lab. We can develop language labs in our schools, dear students. Because in our pedagogy we say whole language approach. With whole language, teachers are expected to provide a literary rich environment for their students and to combine speaking, listening, reading and writing. Hence these language labs help for this in a great way. And here you see, we use constructivist approach in our present teaching. Students construct their own knowledge. New knowledge is based on the previous knowledge. Classroom teaching should be linked with the day-to-day life of the pupils. Thinking leads to language generation. Students should be given real-life experiences, authentic experiences. These are some of the guiding principles of our teaching learning process that is being implemented in our schools. All these things can be achieved by making best use of language laboratories. See, dear student teachers, see, we may use many sources in the lab. Use brochures. Use brochures, some that what we call magazine pictures, wrappers, and some other storybooks in the lab. These are brochures we may use in the lab. Recipes, it may be some what we call some authentic materials like withdrawal form like that. See, dear student teachers, now we call learn anywhere, anytime, anything, any device. This is our present day slogan. And you see here 21st century strategies. See this.
I think it is important to make school fun. And when school is fun, you don't get kids waking up in the morning and say, oh, do I have to come to school again? So we embrace technology because it helps us make learning more engaging. I believe that when kids are engaged, when kids are interested, that's where learning takes place.
The kids are really from a very different world now. And really to reach out to the kids, you need to be savvy with technology. If you're not savvy with technology, you're going to lose the kids in the school.
Ngee Secondary School is a typical school in Singapore where we take in students with different academic abilities, and we have about 1,512 students in this school, and they all come from the neighborhood. We get students from the age of 13 to about 16. Many students want to come to this school because of its strong program, especially in the use of ICT, Infocom technology. And the teachers here are known to produce very good teaching materials and very innovative teaching ideas to engage the students in the classrooms.
In the early 1990s, the teachers really are the monopoly of knowledge, and they are the one that comes to the class to deliver that knowledge so that the students can acquire them. But today, knowledge is no more a monopoly among the teachers, because students can get knowledge from a myriad of sources. And Hence, the role of the teacher today is facilitation. That means facilitate students where they could get the right knowledge, how they could synthesize them, how they could discern the information that they get.
Velocity is defined as the rate of change of distance with time. Is it true or false? So I want you to tweet me your answer. So this is how you tweet. This is the format that you need to tweet. So you put in @ vote by tweet 1.
We look at technology very meaningfully, and we see how can we leverage this technology to make a very significant impact in the classroom instruction. I'll give you an example. In a classroom of 40, it is really impossible to get 40 students to ask 40 questions at one go. When we use the instant messaging tool, we open 40 windows to 40 kids. They could ask 40 questions at the same time, and the teacher could see their thinking on the technology tool that they use. And kids get more excited because they are using the tools that they are very, very good in using, not just the pen and the pencil.
Okay, so same thing we will have.
Dear student teachers, and now we are in the era of information technology. We can best use of all these things. It may be even your mobile phone provided with Wi-Fi can connect with the internet, and we can access the entire knowledge that is there in this world. Hence, dear student teachers, we can conclude here, and we have resources. You see, just you observed how people are using in different countries the various technological innovations to impart wonderful education to their students. All these things can be wonderfully utilized and implemented in our schools with our computer labs. Only one thing that is required is resourceful and enthusiasm on the part of the teacher. Hence, now because the virtue, as we are in the era of information technology, let us make best use of technology to develop our professional growth and provide wonderful education to our students, so that they become they attain wonderful English language skills and become international citizens. That should be our aim. That should be our goal. Dear student teachers, I am very happy with you and wish you a very good luck and take care. Thank you very much.